Hi, I'm Cyaneink and today I have first quick announcement because this will start long series. I got a bunch of quills and I will do comparison of those in the end. But first I want to do individual reviews of these quills and because YouTube is good for like quick reviews, but more in-depth reviews I prefer text-based media. So I opened my blog. I will link it down below, and also the blog post will have more information than this video because I feel that it's easier to share like pricing and other stuff. But yeah, let's get to the brush. Brush that is starting this review series is Kagalovska and it's by DaVinci. Kagalovska is Ukrainian-based artist and this is made by DaVinci in Germany. It is synthetic, has white, really nice bristles. It's quite snappy, but not too snappy. It's not like some of those synthetic that like really feel like they don't want to be bended at all. These are soft, but still has some snap. Hairs used to be bright white, but I stained them because this is got some use. The water was dirty, sorry. Comes to a nice point. There is the French type ferrule. It has 3 bindings. Bindings are really tight, they don't move anywhere. And that's good because it will keep the water out of the hair. And here you can see the neat glue line going all over the brush, which makes that the glue is probably really solid and spread everywhere evenly. There's also the small threads underneath that keep the bristles in the place when they are like bundled together. Handle is nice, solid black. And there's the branding and sizing on the end of the brush. There's a little bit of the thickener when you can hold the brush. And it's size 0. I usually use small brushes, so all the review quills will be in this smaller format. And next is some tests. First I will swoosh the brush in the water and I will show it in the slow it down 4 times. So you see how the brush head moves in the water. Because with some brushes they may feel soft, but they are actually not soft, but they just have like longer bristles. But I would say it's not the case in this brush because it has like average length of the brush head. Then to a pointy test, which I say this one like clears out really well. Because this is brush that points really easily and it doesn't need a lot of like encouraging to make it point. It just like points every time I take it out of the water. Here I tested how well the ferrule keeps the water out of the glue area, and you will see those water lines in the back of the brush and also in the front, so the ferrule is really well holding water where it should be. And here you'll see me doing all the test strokes for this brush, and I will talk a little bit about how I feel about this brush. It works really well. It has a really phenomenal quality that it makes the point really fast and really easily. It also has really good control. It isn't too soft. It doesn't feel like floppy or hard to control. It's really like, because it's synthetic, it's more snappy and more forgiving. So it makes painting easy. And that's quite rare what I feel on the brushes. I usually feel that brushes need some time to get used to. But this one I could feel instantly that it's like really easy to control. And here I'm trying different type of lines. I'm doing like grass type of lines and wiggler lines. And I really like how this brush is like really elegant and it is not so like rushing. Like some of the synthetic brushes can feel that they rush and they like want to curve and doing like sharp lines. But this one comes really nicely just where I like go. So it doesn't like bend weird ways or do weird kind of shapes or anything like that. Brush has a little bit of the bounce, but not too much. I don't feel like it's forcing, like coming up when I push it down. And in the lift test, it performs really well. It makes really smooth line and doesn't make those jagged edges because it's like springing up too fast or something like that. And it's really easy to paint leaves with this brush. I was really surprised because usually it might take like more effort, but this one it feels so easy. Like the brush is behaving so well, and it doesn't, because it's not too soft, it doesn't do that like some squirrel brushes do, that they remain in the bent shape when you have bended it on the paper. But this doesn't do that. It's like rises up really nicely, like good synthetic brush should do. Then I'm making these leaves where I rotate the brush a bit, because if brush is not soft enough, some synthetic brushes do jagged line on the curved side because the bristles are like snapping to the out of the form, like on the, like they are like straightening on their own. And that will make more sense when I have brush that will do that. But in this case, this brush was really pleasant to work with. Here the brush is just wet, it doesn't have color, but I will show like how well it retains its shape when it's pushed down on the surface and then lifted up. So it does that really well, and doesn't, even if you do the long stroke, it still keeps its sharpest point. Of course, there's a little bit of like wonkiness, but it doesn't have like bent shape, and also it comes back to the nice point. Here's some of the paintings I made with this brush. Only with this brush, I didn't use any other brushes. And this I made, I had taken a photo of this really interesting looking entryway at my travel, and I did everything there. I was surprised that it really performed well in the dry brushing, because I was a bit worried, because it's like it still keeps its point even if when it got drier, but when I tap it with a towel, it like dry brushed with no problem. There's really tiny details here, like those tiny lines. They were really easy to use. Also, I like it that it was very consistent, because it wasn't too soft. If you have too soft brush, it can like have some unevenness on the lines, because it like goes down so easily. But this one has like nice snap, and it like feels really solid. It was super easy to control. I was so surprised about that. So I will definitely recommend, if you're a beginner, to get this brush, because it's super easy to control. Especially the line white, I was really surprised that I could get this, all of these small lines, and also these bigger lines. Everything with the same brush. There's like really tiny details here I made. Yeah, this I'm especially proud of. Like, it was just so nice brush to paint with. And for looser work, I did this tulip, and it worked okay. It's not so big, like you can compare, but it was really stretching how this brush could perform in bigger scale. It's not wash brush. It couldn't hold a lot of water because it doesn't have a big belly. It isn't that thirsty in the hairs, so it was a bit harder to do this one. But it did pretty well, especially when I loaded the tip of the brush and just did like one stroke here. So it can work in the looser style if you prefer. The other was, I colored this sketch which I had, and it has a pencil sketch underneath. And why I did this, I wanted to see that does this still keep the pencil sketch in place, because I know some synthetic brushes are so snappy that they like knock out the graphite and smudge it. But here the sketch is still visible underneath. So it worked really well. And do I recommend this brush? Absolutely. It's a really nice, snappy but soft synthetic, and I feel it's really versatile. It could fill a lot of the roles when you are painting, and especially if you're new to quills, and they can be a bit intimidating, especially if you're going really big and soft. This one is nice, like, because it still feels like synthetic, but it still has a really nice sharp point. I also like it how easily it's pointed, and it's like one of those quills I could recommend to beginners as well, because it was super easy to control, and that really blew me away when I was doing these tests, because I wasn't expecting that to happen. So thanks for watching, and I will link where you can get this brush, and I will also link the blog post, because in the blog post you will see more images of this brush, more close-up, and I will also have some text and going more in depth, like how this ferrule is constructed, and showing all the pricings and available sizes. So thanks for watching and hope I see you in my other videos as well. Bye!